Welcome to section 1.6a. We're going to be talking about absolute value equations. This is something you should have seen in 8th grade math, so hopefully this won't take too much effort for it to come back into your mind so you remember how to do it. So absolute value refers to the distance from 0. So when we're taking the absolute value of a number, absolute value doesn't care which direction the number is from 0. It only cares about how far it is from 0. With very few exceptions, there are always two cases to absolute value problems. And why are there two cases? Because there are two directions, right? You can go right from 0 or you can go left from 0. So if we are given the absolute value of 3x equals 12, so if we're starting at 0 and 12, right, we want to know 3x gets to 12. We also want to know how 3x can get to negative 12. So we would set 3x equal to negative 12 and 3x equal to positive 12. Solve both of those equations separately. So x equals negative 4 or x equals positive 4 to account for those two different cases. Because if we go back in and plug this in, what does an answer mean? Well, it means we take the absolute value, 3 times negative 4. We're wondering, does that equal 12? Well, 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And it's still in the absolute value bars. Our last step is to actually evaluate it, following the definition of absolute value, which is distance from 0, which is always positive. So absolute value of negative 12 is positive 12. And positive 12 equals 12. So we know that the answer x equals negative 4 is one answer that's going to make a true statement. Then let's double check again. So 3 times 4, put it in the absolute value. Does that equal 12? Well, 3 times 4 is 12. Absolute value of 12 is 12. So 12 equals 12. That works. So that is an answer. So like we said, most of the time we're going to get two answers. Now, they're not always positive. One's not always positive and one's not always negative. It depends on what's inside with that absolute value. Okay, so the general steps to solve an absolute value equation are to rewrite the absolute value equation as two separate equations, one positive and the other negative. Okay, I'm going to write the stuff inside does not change signs. Just what is on the opposite side of the equal sign does. Okay. Solve each equation separately. After solving, substitute your answer back into the original equation to verify that your solution is valid, and then write out your solution. We're going to use set notation, which is these squiggly brackets, and then you just fill in the numbers as you go. Okay, so we have our absolute value all by itself. So we're going to take the inside and set it equal to the positive. We're also going to take what's inside. Again, we don't change any signs on what was inside of our absolute value, right? When I'm saying inside, I'm talking, the x plus 2. And then the only thing that changes is what it's equal to. Now I treat them like two separate equations, and I solve. So that means x equals 3, x equals negative 7, which would make sense because 3 plus 2 is 5, absolute value of 5 is 5, negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5, negative 5, absolute value is 5, 5 equals 5. So both of these work, 3 comma negative 7 in our squiggle brackets. I think they're officially called curly brackets, but whatever. All right, so again, we're going to take what is inside our absolute value, our x plus 6. We're not going to change it at all. We're going to set it equal to the positive 4. We're going to take the inside, the x plus 6, not changing anything, and set it equal to a negative 4. Then we solve both equations. So here x is equal to negative 2, and x is equal to negative 10. And it doesn't matter the order that you stick them in the set. They just both need to be in there. All right. Again, we keep exactly what is in the absolute value bar. The only thing that changes sign is that answer to account for the different directions from 0. So here x would equal 8, or x would equal -8. If you can't do the squiggle brackets, you can always just do kind of a little squiggly line. You'll notice that my curly brackets aren't always perfect. Okay, so again, we're taking what's inside, setting it equal to the positive, taking what's inside, setting it equal to the negative. Solve. In this case, we're multiplying both sides by 8, so x is equal to 32, and x is equal to -32. Put them both, in our brackets. Sometimes there's multiple things inside, but we don't change anything from inside. The only thing that changes signs is that outside number. So we'll subtract 7 from both sides. -10x is equal to 56. Divide by -10. It's okay to have fractions. We're going to simplify that fraction. Or meh. I'll be nice and let you do it as a decimal, since it's just divisible by 10. Subtract 7, -10x is equal to -70. Divide by -10, and x is -7. So our two numbers are -5.6 and -7. Okay. Again, we take what's inside, set it equal to the positive answer that gave us. Take what's inside, set it equal to the negative answer they gave us. Solve both. You will get decimals or fractions. Try and do fractions if it's reasonable. If it's a simple decimal, I don't mind. Let's see, that would be 22 when we subtract. Divide by 8. Well, 22 and 8 are both divisible by 2, so that would be 11/4. Subtract 5. 8x equals -32. Divide by 8, and x is equal to -4. So our two answers are 11/4 and -4. Hopefully you're getting the hang of this. We just have a couple more problems here. So 4 plus 2x equals 24. 4 plus 2x equals -24. So 2x is equal to 20. So x is equal to 10. 2x is equal to -28. Divided by 2x is -14. Now, I know I'm going kind of fast on the solving because these are fairly simple equations, and you should be okay solving these two-steppers fairly quickly. So we take what's inside, we take it out, set it equal to the positive, set it equal to the negative. And solve our two-step equation by adding or subtracting, and then multiplying or dividing. So here 5x equals -40, so divide by 5, x equals -8. So our numbers are 44/5 and -8. All right, one more. If I'm going too fast, you can always slow down the video, play it at a slower speed, or pause it at any point. That's the nice thing about technology. So we're going to take the inside, set it equal to the positive and to the negative. So here b would equal -8/5. And 5b equals -10. Divide by 5, and b equals -2. So -8/5 and -2 are our solution. Good luck.